This audio recording is intended to facilitate the gradual release of confidential documents pertaining to a top-secret exchange program where 12 U.S. military personnel went to the planet Serpo, which was located in the Zeta Reticuli star system between the years 1965 and 1978. Release 23, The Gate 3 Incident, Updated, a special report by Victor Martinez. Moderator's Note: UFO Thread List. This email was originally streamed on Tuesday, June 4th, 2007 at 9:26 p.m. What I've done is to reproduce the original stream, include the subsequent amendments, and then add the following new subsections at the end of the original posting. Visitor Housing Addendum. Detailed background information which led to the Gate 3 shooting. Bombshell revelation: learn the secret which links all 5 alien species together and the never-before-published official identity of the wounded alien. Gate 3 shooting shocker: the gory, bloody, and absolutely horrific details of the infamous Gate 3 incident revealed here for the first time. Cataloged alien species and their celestial origins. Astronomical data on the home worlds of the alien civilizations. Shocking, citing classified documents 20-plus years old, Anonymous discloses 2 alien species originating from a particular constellation, and now a brand new book and magazine article confirm alien life exists within that constellation. The Cygnus Arm, a must-read. The structure of the Milky Way galaxy, a brief description of our spiral galaxy, type SABC, centered in Sagittarius. Light years as a unit of measurement. What exactly is it? Suggested reference sources. For those of you who read the original email of 6407, scroll down to Visitor Housing and read from that point on for all of the brand new material. This now constitutes the 3rd version and hopefully final. All of this subject as we prepare to move on to other disclosure topics. The Gate 3 incident is a subject that originally came up in December 2005 when I was in regular communication with Anonymous of the Project Serpo disclosures. Because someone let the genie out of the bottle, Paul McGovern, I have now been given permission to release the following still classified information. The following is the true story of the Gate 3 incident as told by Anonymous and his DIA colleagues. As always, my own comments remarks are offset by the use of brackets. Email message from Anonymous, date Thursday, December 15th, 2007, 8:39 p.m., PS3+3, to Victor Martinez. Subject: the escaped alien and the Gate 3 incident. Victor, thank you for your recent inquiry. Who told you about this event? It's still highly classified, and unless you receive instructions otherwise from me or any member of our group, DIA-6, this is to remain between you and me only. This is the true story of the Gate 3 incident. Date: this incident occurred in April 1983. Background: Gate 3 was the designation for an entrance into the Groom Lake Complex. This gate connected the Groom Lake Complex with Area 51. The gates surrounding the Groom Lake Complex were the responsibility of a private security company, Wackenhut Corporation. There was a mixture of private security and military security for the complex. Event: the incident occurred when a visitor, extraterrestrial entity, ETE, being housed at Area 51 S2 facility escaped. A massive search was started by military and private security forces. The visitor was on foot and left the underground S2 facility through an open vault door. Narrative: part of the search team was the Director of Security for the Groom Lake Complex and an agent from the Air Force Office of Special Investigation who was the counterintelligence officer for the complex. Both were traveling in a Jeep from the back gate of Groom Lake to the gate leading into Area 51 called Gate 3. As the Jeep approached Gate 3, the OSI agent noticed the guard was missing from the required location outside the gatehouse. As the Jeep stopped, the OSI agent got out of the Jeep to investigate. Critical mass. The OSI agent walked up to the gate to check on the guard. As the OSI agent got closer to the front door of the gate, the OSI agent noticed the interior of the gate was blood-splattered. The OSI agent noticed only small pieces of human body parts were left of a human being. The OSI agent returned to the Jeep and contacted the Central Security Control, main primary security office for the complex, and reported the findings. The director of security contacted his office by way of a radio phone mounted inside the Jeep. The OSI agent, armed with only an automatic pistol, walked around the area searching for a perpetrator. Flashpoint. The OSI agent located the visitor lying down near an underground water culvert. The OSI agent challenged the visitor, ordering the visitor to get up. The visitor walked away, followed by the OSI agent. At some point, the OSI agent fired his weapon at the visitor as a warning. The visitor turned and pointed something at the OSI agent. The OSI agent fired directly at the visitor, hitting the visitor directly in the chest with 2 rounds from the .45 caliber automatic pistol. The visitor fell to the ground. It took about 18 minutes for the additional security forces to arrive. The visitor was placed inside a containment chamber and transported back to the S2 facility. The visitor recovered from the wounds. Follow-up. The incident was investigated by the FBI and Air Force Office of Special Investigation. The incident remains classified. Identity of the alien. The name of the creature involved in the Gate 3 incident was an Archquloid. Archquloid. The alien is described as one of the big-nosed grays. It was a 5'6" tall gray or tan being with large black slanted eyes and a mushroom-like head with 4 long fingers. They have yellow eyes with vertical pupils and very large beaked noses. They are genetically engineered by the Ebens, cloned, and were given to the U.S. government for observation examination study by the Ebens. Visitor housing. This particular visitor lived in the bubble, officially known as the Clean Sphere, located between Level 2 and 3 of the 8-level S2 facility at Area 51. If memory serves me right, there were between 12 to 15 compartments within the Clean Sphere or bubble, which was located at the south end of the S2 facility. Both the Archquloid and J-Rod lived in 2 of the 12 to 15 compartments marked Visitor Containment. Victor, it's important to note here that J-Rod and the Archquloid creature were not one and the same, and that the claims made by some that they were are just plain wrong. The Archquloid escaped, not J-Rod. What we speculate is that because the Archquloid had lived its primary existence in the Clean Sphere and could only spend a minimal amount of time in our atmosphere, that an overexposure to our atmosphere somehow affected its sanity and intellect. Furthermore, it caused the creature to become delusional, disorientated, and lose its mental faculties for sound reasoning, analysis, and judgment. In street parlance, it lost its mind or was of unsound mind, which accounts for his escape from the high-security Clean Sphere facility and the resulting homicide of the security guard. Subject: the Gate 3 incident. Victor, I cannot handle your almost daily, incessant, and constant barrage of questions regarding the Gate 3 incident and the astronomical data you keep asking me for regarding our visitors. At the present time, I am going over reams and reams of documents, some of which will be released to you for public distribution through your large list and the Serpo website over the summer and into the fall. Because so many of your questions require some research on my part and it's distracting me from this other important work, I have directed 2 of our members, DIA-6, to communicate with you directly. We all speak with one voice. Whether you wish to combine and represent their responses as one individual or break it up matters little to me. You have the full confidence of me and my group as to how you wish to proceed. Visitor Housing Addendum. Detailed background information which led to the Gate 3 shooting. From a member of the DIA-6. Victor, Here is the detailed background information on the Gate 3 incident which led up to the unfortunate series of events in April 1983. This is all explained in a 300-page report issued on the Gate 3 incident, which combines the investigative efforts of both the FBI and the AFOSI. The Ebens showed us creatures they created. Yes, they can clone almost any living tissue into a creature via a method called rapid cycle cloning. J-Rod was a creature created by the Ebens. He was intelligent, contained a brilliant mind, and was able to adapt quickly to our environment. The second creature, the Archquloid, was primitive. The second creature was a form of a slave. It could be controlled, given orders, and was safe, or at least we thought it was safe. The second creature was controlled by a brain chip and was functionally controlled by a little black box. The Ebens provided this creature to us for medical experiments. J-Rod became frustrated with our efforts to control this creature. The Archquloid creature was able to fully communicate telepathically with J-Rod. At some point, the creature expressed a desire to be free. J-Rod released the creature, and thus we had the Gate 3 incident. After the incident, J-Rod was placed in a secure containment facility. The Archquloid creature, which survived the shooting and once medically healed, was placed inside a more secure facility and restrained by a system provided to us by the Ebens. The creature died about 1 year later from a mixture of the trauma associated with the shooting incident and his brain activity, which simply failed. After this incident, J-Rod was never fully trusted again. He was under strict control at all times. His mannerism changed. His mood changed because of the increased attention. J-Rod, although gentle, was upset over these new measures. Bombshell revelation. Learn the secret which links all 5 alien species together and the never-before-published official identity of the wounded alien. From a member of the DIA-6. Victor, you sure ask a lot of questions of our group. There are 2 common links between each alien group and the Ebens. The first link is that the Ebens discovered each group, civilized them, and then cloned their species with others. It is an extremely complicated subject and is something I don't care to go into at this time with you. While we don't know all of the specifics, basically the Ebens used the DNA of each alien group to create other species of aliens. The second common link is the DNA. Each alien group has the same exact DNA. How is that possible? We don't know. Level 2 at the S2 facility is where J-Rod and the other alien, Archquloid, lived. They have special containment facilities to house each alien. Victor, one thing that has never been disclosed is the name given to the second alien. The one shot, the Archquloid. The USG named that alien CBE-1, or Cloned Biological Entity 1. This has never been officially disclosed to the public. You have a first here. The word Archquloid was coined by Area 51 scientists to classify each different alien race. We knew of 5, all given to us by the Ebens. We developed other names for each race, especially for the Archquloid, who was the creature shot in the Gate 3 incident. The Ebens cloned other races of aliens. As one of my other colleagues recently wrote and told you, it is really an incredibly complex story. But the Archquloid was a cloned biological entity, CBE-1, created by the Ebens. It would take hundreds of hours and thousands of pages of written clarifications to explain it all, neither of which I am prepared to do. The Quadloids were cloned from 2 other species, so as you can see, it really gets very complicated, hence my reluctance to delve into it too deeply. Regarding your question as to the number of S-level facilities at Area 51, I can only tell you that there are 9 such levels within the S2 facility at Area 51. As to what is done on each level and at each facility, I don't want to disclose that highly classified information as it could very well compromise the security of the base. Our group was unanimous on this issue. In only the most general of terms, there are 9 levels at the S2 complex. There are Level 1, Administration. Level 2, Containment for Visitors. Level 3, Open Storage and Worksite for Visitor Craft. Level 4, Hazmat Containment Rooms. Level 5, Propulsion System Testing and Experimental Station, APS. Level 6, Secondary Containment for Visitor Craft. Level 7, Vault, Storage Site for Visitor Gifts, referenced in Serpo posting number 19. Level 8, Storage Site for Visitors' High-Energy Devices. Level 9, Not Used, at least through 1995. Please note that sometimes S2 is referred to as an 8-level facility, as the floor that houses our visitors is oftentimes not counted as a floor. I have listed them for you exactly as they appear in the base security manual. We're all very well aware that you've developed other high-level governmental contracts, so if one of your other sources tells you more details, I would ask you to think twice before publishing it for the reasons I just gave. A detailed description of each S facility might also bring you some very costly legal problems. I can't answer your astronomy questions. Another member of our group has extensive astronomical data on many alien species. I'll have him get in touch with you. Gate 3 shooting shocker. The gory, bloody, and absolutely horrific details of the infamous Gate 3 incident revealed here for the first time. From a member of the DIA-6. As for the Gate 3 incident, everyone has their own opinions. With respect to the OSI agent directly involved in the Gate 3 incident shooting, I don't want to put anyone in a dangerous, sticky situation. Some of this information is still extremely classified. To this day, many involved in the shooting still have great differences of opinion as to what should have been done, especially with a containment team en route and only minutes away. I don't want to be accused of being a Monday morning quarterback. The agents on scene did what they thought was right, and while they were generally praised, others differ on that point. Material purposely deleted by moderator. 3 paragraphs. No one has mentioned the poor guard. The examination of the scene revealed the guard was imploded. The Archquloid had a hidden weapon on his body. The weapon, which was recovered and locked up, contained a form of an energy-directed beam. The beam struck the guard's body and imploded it. The largest piece of a body part left was about the size of a quarter. One eyeball was found intact. The Archquloid lived for about 1 year after it was shot, but it was in constant pain since our doctors couldn't adequately and effectively treat all of his problems. According to the information we developed from the Archquloid, which appears in the 300-page report, the guard threatened him and he killed the guard in self-defense. The investigation revealed the guard's handgun, Colt 45 automatic, was never fired. The gun was not destroyed, which brings up another interesting point. If the guard was threatening the Archquloid with a gun, why didn't the Archquloid destroy the weapon? As you can see, there are many unanswered questions. In closing, the OSI special agent fired 6 shots, striking the Archquloid 4 times. The agent fired from a distance of 165 feet, which is really outstanding shooting. Moderator's note. The following section was written by a confidential source within the Defense Intelligence Agency and is a current sitting member of the DIA-6. He appears to have a different take on the cause of the visitor's apparent dysfunctional, frenzied, and near-hysterical behavior. Anonymous resumes his information under Cataloged Alien Species. Visitor, supplementary background information. Victor, this particular visitor was suffering from a medical, mental, emotional condition. Consider the following. This creature came to this planet from another solar system, traveled about 38 light years, 38.42, was locked up in a special containment housing complex, was shocked by our civilization and our culture, was not allowed to leave, was under strict compliance controls, metal straps that shocked the creature when it tried to leave or did not comply with our instructions, and was unable to communicate in our language. It was probably suffering from PTSS, post-traumatic stress syndrome. What a shock! This is the same type of shock felt by our 12 team members en route to planet Serpo in 1965. The creature recovered from its gunshot wounds inflicted by the OSI agent, but it later died about 1 year later. By the way, Bob Lazar did work at Area 51. He is also aware of this incident. Moderator's note. Ever since the second, more detailed stream I sent on the Gate 3 incident, I've received nearly 90 inquiries as to the origin of the alien species listed in that second posting. Anonymous responded late Tuesday evening, 6/12/07. Catalog alien species and their celestial origins. Victor, regarding your question as to where some of the aliens came from, here is the complete list of the alien species the U.S. government knows or has cataloged. Ebens, planet Serpo in Zeta Reticuli. Archquloids, planet Pontel near the Cygnus arm. Quadloids, planet Otto in Zeta Reticuli, genetically engineered praying mantis and lizard-like creatures created by the Ebens. Haploids, planet Damco near the Cygnus arm. Trontoloids, planet Silius in Zeta Reticuli. Note, some of the above appeared in the Project Serpo posting number 19. Notes, both planets Damco and Pontel are in the Milky Way near the Cygnus arm. Damco is from a solar system which contains 11 planets, and it is the 4th planet out. Its size is a little bigger than that of Earth. Pontel comes from another solar system entirely with the Sun just about the size of ours. Pontel is the 5th planet out and just a little smaller than ours. More to come, Anonymous. Astronomical data on the home worlds of the alien civilizations. Cygnus arm within the Milky Way galaxy. These Cygnus nebulosities, which contain planet Damco and Pontel, are all located about 2,000 light-years away. Looking towards the constellation Cygna is a stunning and complex region of nebulae strewn along the plane of our Milky Way galaxy. The bright, hot supergiant star, Deneb, and popular celestial sites such as the North American and Pelican emission region, the IC 1318 butterfly, and the Crescent and Veil nebulae can also be identified. Silhouetted by the glowing interstellar clouds and crowded star fields, the dark northern coal sack is also visible, part of a series of obscuring dust clouds forming the Great Rift in the Milky Way. Along with the Sun, they lie within the Orion spiral arm of our galaxy. 2. Constellation, Cancer, star M44, a beehive of stars. The beehive cluster lies about 580 light-years away and contains over 350 stars in a cluster spread out over only 10 light-years. M44 is a prominent open cluster of stars, nicknamed Praesepe and the Beehive. It is one of the few open clusters visible to the unaided eye. M44 was thought to be a nebulae until Galileo used an early telescope to resolve the cluster's bright blue stars. These stars in M44, which is thought to have formed about 400 to 730 million years ago, is larger and older than most other open clusters. When viewed with a powerful telescope, hundreds of stars become visible. Constellation, Taurus M45, the Pleiades star cluster, is about 380 to 400 light-years from Earth and contains 3,000 plus stars. The 9 brightest stars are Atlas, Pleione, Alcyone, Maya, Asterope, Tegeta, Caleno, Melrope, and Electra. Perhaps the most famous star cluster on the sky, the Pleiades, can be seen without binoculars from even the depths of a light-polluted city. Also known as the Seven Sisters and M45, the Pleiades is one of the brightest and closest open clusters. The Pleiades contains over 3,000 stars and is only 10 to 13 light-years across. As viewed through a good telescope, there are blue reflections, nebula that surround the brighter cluster star. Low-mass, faint brown dwarfs have also been found in the Pleiades. Constellation, Reticulum. Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2 are 5th magnitude yellow double-star system. Planets Serpo, Otto, and Silius are 38.42 light-years away. Planet Serpo's binary suns, Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2, Serpo is Reticulum 4. Planet Serpo of the Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2 binary star systems is in the constellation of Reticulum and home of the Ebens civilization. Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2 are two fifth magnitude yellow-orange main sequence dwarf stars of 5.2 and 5.5 magnitude. They are not blue. Zeta Reticuli lies 38.42 light years or 225,968,400,000,000 miles away. Secondly, Zeta Reticuli 1 is approximately 91% of the diameter of our Sun, and Zeta Reticuli 2 is approximately 99% of the diameter of our Sun. Thirdly, the distance between the stars is 367 billion miles for Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2, or approximately 100 times the Sun-Pluto distance as they orbit a common center. The Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2 star system. The Zeta Reticuli incident. The 400 billion stars of the Milky Way, our galactic neighborhood, is just teeming with sentient life regardless of what the control freaks of the USG state publicly. Absolutely amazing. Shocker, citing classified documents 20-plus years old, Anonymous discloses two alien species originating from a particular constellation, and now a brand new book and magazine article confirm alien life exists within that constellation. The Cygnus Arm, a must-read. The Cygnus Mystery, Unlocking the Ancient Secrets of Life's Origin in the Cosmos by Andrew Collins. Flashpoint. From the distant past and a far-off star comes a revelation to change all we know about who we are, where we come from, and where we go from here. The Cygnus Arm constellation is the key to unlocking humanity's ancient and universal belief that life originated in the heavens and will ultimately return there. Best-selling author Andrew Collins has found that this long-held conviction emerges from an astronomy that is about 17,000 years old, with standing stones, temples, and monuments across the globe orientated towards Cygnus stars. All around the world, ancient peoples fixed the location of heaven, the source of cosmic life and death, in the same segment of the sky, the constellation of Cygnus the Swan. But why? From the oldest temples in the world to the cutting edge of astrophysics, Andrew Collins sets out to find answers on an extraordinary historical quest to unravel the earliest beliefs of our most distant ancestors. The Cygnus Mystery reveals that our ancestors knew what science is now telling us, that life did originate among the stars. Shows that Cygnus is at the root of all the world's religions. Traces the very DNA of life from shamanic art in Paleolithic caves to the foundations of the Great Pyramid, from psychedelic journeys in the Peruvian Amazon to Francis Crick's discovery of the double helix. Points to the origin of astronomy, literature, ancient cosmology, even transoceanic sea voyages, all at a time of sudden change for humanity some 17,000 years ago. Provides compelling evidence that high-energy subatomic particles in the walls of ancient caves came from a binary star known as Cygnus X3, a source of powerful cosmic rays likely to have reached Earth and accelerated human evolution during the last ice age. Bonus, the July-August 2007 64 issue of Atlantis Rising magazine, on newsstands now, carries a 5-page article entitled, "Has a Popular Science Writer Found the Connection Between Human Evolution and the Cygnus Constellation?" by Dr. Greg Little. The reason Cygnus was so important to the ancients is most easily answered by a previously mentioned fact. The brightest star of the Cygnus constellation is Deneb, which was the pole star 17,000 years ago. But there is an even more intriguing aspect to this. Cygna lies at the critical juncture in the Milky Way known as the Great Rift. It is at this spot that the Milky Way splits into two long sides with a dark murky area dividing it. This precise location of the Milky Way has served as a key component in many ancient religious systems. The most mysterious and important religious beliefs held by ancient people concern the origin and destiny of souls. The Milky Way and the Great Rift are the specific geographic locations central to ancient beliefs about the soul. The structure of the Milky Way galaxy, a brief description of our spiral galaxy type SAB-C, centered in Sagittarius. The Milky Way is the galaxy which is the home of our solar system, together with at least 200 billion other stars. More recent estimates have given numbers around 400 billion, and their planets and thousands of clusters and nebulae, including at least almost all objects of Meissner's catalogs which are not galaxies on their own. All the objects in the Milky Way galaxy orbit their common center of mass called the galactic center. As a galaxy, the Milky Way is actually a giant, or its mass is probably between 750 billion and 1 trillion solar masses, and its diameter is about 100,000 light years. Radioastronomical investigations of the distribution of hydrogen clouds have revealed that the Milky Way is a spiral galaxy of Hubble type SB or SC. Therefore, our galaxy has both a pronounced disk component exhibiting a spiral structure and a prominent nuclear region which is part of a notable budge halo component. Decade-long observations have brought up more and more evidence that the Milky Way may also have a bar structure, so that it may look like M61 or M83 and is perhaps best classified as SAB-BC. Recent investigations have brought up support for the assumption that the Milky Way may even have a pronounced central bar like barred spiral galaxies M58, M91, M95, or M109, and thus be of Hubble type SB, B, or SBC. More on the structure of the Milky Way. The Milky Way galaxy belongs to the Local Group, a smaller group of 3 large over 30 small galaxies, and is the second largest after the giant Andromeda galaxy M31, but perhaps the most massive member of this group, M31, at about 2.9 million light-years, is the nearest large galaxy, but a number of faint galaxies are much closer. Many of the dwarf local group members are satellites or companions of the Milky Way. The 2 closest neighbors, both already mentioned, have only recently been discovered. The nearest of all, discovered in 2003, is an extremely almost disrupted dwarf galaxy, the Canis Major dwarf, the nucleus of which is about 25,000 light-years away from us and about 45,000 light-years from the galactic center. Second comes SAG-DEG at about 88,000 light-years from us and some 50,000 light-years from the galactic center. These 2 dwarfs are currently in close encounters with our galaxy and in sections of their orbits situated well within the volume occupied by our Milky Way. They are followed in distance by the more conspicuous Large and Small Magellanic Cloud at about 179,000 and 210,000 light-years away, respectively. The spiral arms of our Milky Way contain interstellar matter, diffuse nebulae, and young stars and open star clusters emerging from this matter. On the other hand, the bulge component consists of old stars and contains the globular star clusters. Our galaxy has probably about 200 globulars, of which we know about 150. These globular clusters are strongly concentrated towards the galactic center. From their apparent distribution in the sky, Harlow Shapley has concluded that this center of the Milky Way lies at a considerable distance, which he overestimated by factors, in the direction of Sagittarius and not rather close to us as had been thought previously. Our solar system is thus situated within the outer regions of this galaxy, well within the disk and only about 20 light-years above the equatorial symmetry plane, to the direction of the galactic North Pole, but about 28,000 light-years from the galactic center. Therefore, the Milky Way shows up as luminous bands spanning all around the sky along this symmetry plane, which is also called the galactic equator. Its center lies in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius, but very close to the border of both neighbor constellations Scorpius and Orpicus. The distance of 28,000 light-years has recently, 1997, been confirmed by the data of ESA's astrometric satellite Hipparcos. Other investigations published consequently have disputed this value and propose a smaller value of some 25,000 light-years. Based on stellar dynamics, a recent investigation yields roughly 26,000 light-years. This data, if of significance, wouldn't immediately affect values for distances of particular objects in the Milky Way or beyond. The solar system is situated within a smaller spiral arm called the local or Orion arm, which is merely a connection between the inner and outer next more massive arms, the Sagittarius arm and the Perseus arm. Our Sun, together with the whole solar system, is orbiting the galactic center on a nearly circular orbit. We are moving at about 250 kilometers per second and need about 220 million years to complete one orbit. So the solar system has orbited the galactic center about 20 to 21 times since its formation about 4.6 billion years ago. In addition to the overall galactic rotation, the solar system is moving between the neighboring stars, peculiar motion, at a velocity of about 20 kilometers per second to a direction called solar apex. At the approximate position, Ra equals 18 to 1, decline equals plus 26. This motion has been discovered by William Herschel in 1783. Beautiful, the Milky Way galaxy as viewed from Capitol Reef National Park near Moab, Utah. Light years as a unit of measurement. What exactly is it? What is the speed of light? What is a light year? Light travels at 186,170 miles per second. So in 1 year, light travels 5,871,057,120,000 miles. This is arrived at by 186,170 miles per second times 60 seconds per minute equals 11,170,200 miles per minute times 60 minutes per hour equals 670,212,000 miles per hour times 24 hours per day equals 16,085,088,000 miles per day times 365 days per year equals 5,871,057,120,000 miles per year equals the distance light can travel in 1 year, a light year unit of measurement. Distance to our nearest star, Alpha Centauri, 4.3 light years. Milky Way galaxy equals 90,000 light years wide, 3,000 light years thick. Number of stars in our Milky Way, about 400 billion. Number of galaxies in our universe, about 50 billion. Number of stars in our universe, about 5 billion trillion. A light nanosecond, the distance light can travel in a billionth of a second, about 1 feet or 12 inches, 30 centimeters. At the center of the Milky Way galaxy lies a black hole, which is light hours wide. Click below to view. Suggested reference sources to have on hand for future Project Serpo releases. While there are many fine astronomy books, the best two for stunning celestial images printed on 40-pound enamel-coated paper and brilliant color plates are Universe, the Definitive Visual Guide, General Editor Sir Martin Rees. The Illustrated Atlas of the Universe by Mark A. Garlick. And for mainly text in an encyclopedia-like style for few color plates, the Universal Book of Astronomy From the Andromeda Galaxy to the Zone of Avoidance by Dr. David Darling. I have all three and can vouch for them all. Moderator's note: life imitating art? Anyone who knows this classified Gate 3 incident is true certainly had a paradigm shift of awareness concerning the ET presence on Earth versus the years of government cover-ups and denials. The sad part is that the ET visitor was in the position of an escapee, regardless of its reason, instead of an ambassador from another planet, and was summarily remanded to custody of the USG, care of AFO-SI agents. As a brief aside, the incident of shooting an ET with a gun was briefly described near the end of the X-Files TV episode EBE, Season 1, Episode 16, air date 2/1894. It was Deep Throat who told Agent Mulder with great sadness that he, Deep Throat, once shot and killed an ET on purpose. This is why he helped Mulder so much, to atone for this action. To discuss this release on Open Minds Forum, please click here. And that is the end of this video. If you like things like this, please give this video a thumbs up. Please share this video. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'll have more things like this.